Tampa, Florida, just north, with a group of Republican voters to get their reaction to tonight's debate. Frank.
Sean, we absolutely have a winner tonight, a clear winner. How many of you in this room walked in supporting Mitt Romney? Raise your hands. How many of you thought Mitt Romney won the debate? Raise your hands. Watch this, Sean. How many of you have changed your mind over the last week and gone from one candidate to another? Raise your hands. Who'd you go from and who'd you go to?
I went from Perry, and I still like Gingrich.
Who'd you go from to?
I was voting for Santorum, and now I like Mitt Romney.
Who'd you go from?
Romney to Kane.
From where to where?
Romney to Kane.
Over here. Who'd you go from and to? Who switched?
Rick Perry to Mitt Romney.
Mitt Perry.
To who?
To Romney.
Where'd you go from and to?
Perry to Gingrich.
What was it? Those of you who thought Mitt Romney won, why? I mean, we've been doing these debates for a while. This is the best showing for Mitt Romney. What was so strong about him?
Decisive decisions. Perry was such a waffler, and he really looked presidential.
What was it?
I thought he was Reagan-esque. He spoke with great specificity.
Yeah, he had clear answers, gave specific answers.
Yes. He was confident. He was very elegant in the way he answered the questions.
Elegant. I've not heard that word used to describe Mitt Romney before.
He wasn't fumbling around. He wasn't...
Yeah. I thought Perry was too defensive the entire time. He spent too much time fighting with Romney instead of talking about his policies.
Now I want to take you back. Hold on one second. I want to take you. There are three segments that we're going to show tonight in Dials, and this first one was the most negative reaction that I've seen any Republican candidate have among Republican primary voters. This is Rick Perry talking about immigration. Let's take a look.
Most folks.
I guess we don't have that clip. You all remember when he talked about immigration, and he said that those who don't support funding people with illegal immigration, funding education, have no heart. What was so wrong with that?
It's an absolutely disgusting thing to say. When you hold up free health care or free education to people who want to get their children served and their lives served, that's a temptation to come. That's actually putting people's lives at risk. It's not a compassionate thing to hold up.
What was so negative?
It's not that they can't get an education, it's that they're subsidizing them. They shouldn't be subsidized. My son wanted to go to Texas A&M and paying out-of-state tuition, it was just too much. But being illegal, you can. It's not right.
The things that I'm tired of is being told that I'm heartless and being a conservative, and it's unacceptable. We can take care of the immigrant without subsidizing them, without coddling them, without making this a possibility for them to come in.
So help Rick Perry here. What should he have said? Is there anything that he could have done that would communicate it more effectively?
Well, I think Santorum was correct when he said essentially that it's not about illegals not going to school. It's about giving them benefits before Americans get the benefits.
Now, you mentioned Santorum. Sean, there's another clip, and hopefully we can pull it up now, which is Rick Perry and Senator Santorum, Rick Santorum, going back and forth with each other on the issue of immigration, and it really bothered the people in this room. Let's take a look. I don't hear it. Nope. Okay, I guess it's just going to be you guys for the rest of this. These things happen. It's live television. So I want to go back to why Governor Romney did so well. Explain it to me.
I've been concerned about what he did with health care in Massachusetts, but he did say that one of his first things out the gate would be to repeal Obamacare, and so that made me feel better about where he stood on that issue.
And that was the clear point to you.
Well, and I think he learned from his mistakes, and I think that that's going to be very helpful for him going forward.
We're looking for accountability.
Go ahead.
We're looking for accountability, and he has said, I made mistakes and I'm willing to take responsibility for them, and this is what I would have done differently. That's what we want in a president.
Well, I think this is the first time also. This is the first time also he's actually explained that healthcare system, and at least finally convinced me that he doesn't believe it as a national system. Because in the medical profession, that's the one thing I would not go with him with.
The one thing I like about Mitt Romney is his answers now with this health care plan in Massachusetts. It is a state privilege to provide those services for your state, and that's where it belongs. It's one of the reasons why I've been opposed to this Obamacare deal from the very start. Mitt Romney had to come forward, and he had to say this. I have a right as a governor to govern my state the way we feel best.
Now, Florida's
that today in the debate. Rick Perry said that it was a state right. So he really kind of shot the whole Romney Care thing in the foot by saying that.
You guys agree with that?
Yes, absolutely.
One more.
But on the economy, I think his message was, I mean, we've tried government spending, that's failed. Now he wants to believe in the American, believe in free enterprise, and I think that's huge.
So I want to cover some of the other candidates. Herman Cain gave one of the most powerful statements when he talked about getting rid of the EPA. You all voted before we went on the air as that being one of the two most dramatic things. What was so strong about saying no more EPA, let's start over again?
It shows that nothing is a sacred cow. I mean, it may take in Washington going, literally department by department and cleaning house, but that nothing is a sacred cow to him. He's willing to start from scratch with something.
Harold?
I think the EPA is more important because it's what's holding us back on the energy, looking for new energy. We're letting snail darters keep us from doing things. I mean, all the, like he said, the dust, regulating dust, all the minutia. Not that we don't need some regulation to make sure the water stays clean, et cetera, et cetera.
But I mean, that's the whole point of the EPA also. I think if you get caught up in like the minutia of the small part, then you'll look at these talking points and say, oh, the EPA needs to go. But I mean, it's a critical function of government. We can't just toss it out and say, well, that's a great talking point, I'm going to vote for you. I think that's insane.
I think it's very conscious that people think of the EPA as being regulatory.
Go ahead, one more.
The other thing, I'm a scientist, and I get so tired of people mixing science with politics. Why can't we just really discuss the science and keep the politics out of it?
So are the candidates answering the questions you want to see answered, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
No. Okay, then what didn't they answer?
Too many, they didn't answer the questions. They danced around it and they went through
Which one?
For instance,
don't make an attack, John. Don't look away. On this, we don't make an attack that we don't back up. Which one did they answer?
I didn't like Perry's answer when it specifically came to. Now I lost my train of thought.
Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Rick Perry.
Hendricks and Herman Cain both had direct answers to the questions, and they were very specific about their answers.
I agree.
You're positive towards Newt Gingrich. Why?
I just think that he is giving very specific answers, and they make a lot of sense.
Great. Sean, Florida voters are going to determine the future. Very articulate. I want to thank you guys for participating. Back to you.
All right, and thanks, Frank Luntz. And coming up, the stage is now clear. The candidates are now entering the spin room, including former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney. He's going to join me next live.